Hi, how's it going? What's going on? I'm doing good, thanks for asking. I'm doing very good actually, and I am asking what's going on because this channel has been going since 2009, and we'll get into some cards and start doing a reading in a minute. But I just wanted to say, after all that time, I'd kind of got used to not really ever making it to the magic 1,000 subscribers. It seems to come close and then people unsubscribe and stuff. And I woke up this morning to find I got another kind of 50 new subscribers. So thanks to all of you who've subscribed. Who've subscribed ever, actually, but particular thanks to those who've subscribed in the last 24 hours. And in the few hours since that happened, there's kind of another 10, 15 subscribers. And goodness knows where it will end, where it will actually go to, who knows. But I'm really kind of, wow, what's going on? I'm really shocked by the way things are going. Anyway, I wanted to make a video. I wanted to do a reading for all you guys who've just come over and joined. And I wanted to say thanks too to INTUITIVEW, who makes fantastic videos, actually. I watched some of her videos today. She seems completely for real to me. And she gave me a shout out on her channel. And I know a lot of you guys have come over from there. So thanks very much. And so I thought, what shall I do a reading about today? And it's always best to just wait and see what a person's spirit guides bring into the picture, really, because we're all guided, And when you come and find a new channel, as I was now obviously been drawn to INTUITIVEW, there's always something going on that we're not aware of in our kind of front of house everyday minds, something that's going on in the third eye, something that's going on in the higher chakras that draws people together. And so I'm sure you've been drawn here for a reason, and I'm sure I've been drawn to you for a reason. So it's all guided. It's all going on with spirit guides. So I tuned into mine as best I can, and said, what shall I do a reading about today, because it seems a real good day to put a reading up. I shall have to do more readings, actually. I think that's where it's at. And I started shuffling around in my tarot deck, and these two cards came out. And I'm going to put these back in the deck in a minute and shuffle again, and we'll do a 5-card spread. But these two came out, and they're kind of significators for what I'm going to do now. First one out was the 5 of Wands. And that kind of just draws me to the nature of the world situation at the moment, actually. And one of my long-time subscribers, Melanie, sent me an image last week of an Egyptian tarot deck card, which had, it was called the 2 Urns, and it's actually very much like the Temperance card in the traditional deck that we're all used to. And it's all about balance, and the way balance can be a kind of alchemy in itself, you just get things in balance and that seems like everything's okay. But in actual fact, by getting things into a state of balance, you open yourself up to better things coming in and better things happening, because they're just kind of coming into a much easier situation, a situation where things can grow, where abundance can grow, and that's where balance is at. Well, there is very little balance going on in the 5 of Wands, but there's a battle really going on here. And the meaning of this card really is that it's a battle of egos. It's a very real battle, stuff is actually happening all the time, but really it's coming from people's egos as much as anything. And we all know the situation that's going on in the USA at the moment, which seems to be involving some egos, one person's ego in particular, I think, but that's just my take on it. Time will tell exactly what's going to happen there, and I'm not a political vlogger. I'm not going to kind of get into that. It's all about the readings for me. But actually, if you look all over the world, you find that egos are sort of going on quite strongly in just about all the big situations that are happening. There's kind of Bill Gates, who has got as much money as he could ever need, but he's still trying to make some more money if he possibly can. Even though so many of us have got Microsoft computers and we're kind of paying him all the time in one way or another. He's just one example, though. I'm singling him out. He's rich, he doesn't care. And I don't suppose he watches my videos either, which is his loss, really, isn't it? But there you go, that's my ego starting to get into the battle there. We've all got an ego, we've all got to think about that kind of thing. And the other one that came out, I just pulled 2 cards as I was kind of tuning into my guides. Number 17 in the Major Arcana, and this one is the Star. Now, This is actually quite like the two urns card that came up from Melanie as well. It's very similar, but it's not temperance. It's a kind of a similar message to temperance, so we can see things coming into balance. You've got the naked human form here, the naked kind of goddess female form here, out there in nature. It's always an invitation to get closer to nature when the star comes up. And we also see the balance that's going on there, you know. She's pouring some water into the stream or the pond or the pool, whatever it is there, and she's pouring some of it onto the ground. And that's how it works, you know. It's very, very ancient symbolism. Anything to do with water in, you know, I'm talking kind of like 1,000, maybe 2,000 years ago, maybe even before that. The kind of religion that human beings had maybe 3000 BC or so when Stonehenge was built, when water was almost a god in itself, or certainly a tool of the gods, and the flow of water was so important. You know, they used it in all their rituals for taking away people's souls and actually people's bodies, as well, when they passed away. And they were always aware of that flow of abundance. And like now, 5,020 odd years later, here we are, and we're just not aware enough, I don't think, of the flow of abundance. The world is flowing and changing all the time, you know, but we end up not getting the abundance from it because we're not really actually aware that that's what it can bring us. And all the time we sort of do nothing about our situation. That river of abundance is still flowing and it's passing us by. So guys, make friends with money, whatever it is you want, you know. They say money is an evil thing. Not necessarily, it's what people use money for. And it is a very great tool of evil, certainly, but it can be used for great things as well. And so get your manifesting heads on if you're feeling that, you know, the flow isn't bringing you anything much. And if you're trying to kind of sit on the energy and just see where things go, see what happens in life, well, I wouldn't sit on it for too long. Sometimes we do need to store energy up. Sometimes we need to store things up as well, just to make sure we've got enough for the future. But it all adds up to a great big hoard. My kitchen is full of foods in cans and things that I bought, you know, long shelf life foods that I bought, I think March or April, when the big kind of problem that's going on in the world really first made itself known in this part of the world, which, by the way, is Wales, UK. And INTUITIVEW actually did say she thought I was in England. Well, I am an Englishman, you know, and that really is where I'm coming from. But my little studio here is in my little old 400-year-old house in West Wales, UK, which is a very, very magical place. I've forgotten what I was talking about now. But anyway, time is flying. I'm shuffling away here. Let's pull out some cards and see where we get. Now, this one isn't actually for any particular star sign. You can be your own psychic here. This is kind of how I work, you know. For many years, I've been posting, kind of putting like a picture of 3 cards on Facebook or Instagram, or maybe both at the same time, and saying, you know, pick a card. And I've noticed that people very often pick a card that's very relevant to them. And that's not because of any spiritual skills I've got. I'm sure it's partly because I link to my spirit guides and their guides link to mine, and we're all drawn together the way we always are on the internet or in the world or anywhere. But it's actually because people are very much more psychic than they realise, you know. There's nothing at all wrong with doing a course, reading more stuff, and kind of broadening your psychic mind as much as you can. It's all good, it really is. But never forget, my friends, that you've got inside yourselves something that's kind of positive, something that's connected to the higher realms, put it that way. If you've ever had a wacky dream that you didn't understand, that is a connection to the higher realms. And if you write those dreams down, it's amazing how much we lose sight of within 10 minutes of waking up. So if you write those dreams down, pretty much as soon as you come to life in the morning, you'd be really quite surprised what you find out. Anyway, my guides are whispering in my ear that I've shuffled enough and I've talked enough nonsense. So let's get on to the first card. You can pick any one of these cards, or you can pick all 5, but do choose the ones you're going to choose before we actually get to them. And I've already shown you this one, which is the 10 of Pentacles, so I guess you already know which one that is. My bad. But yeah, pick your numbers before you see the cards, okay? That's the way to do it. That's the way you know that you're actually being shown something from outside of your everyday self. Maybe it's your higher self drawing you towards the experience. But pick your numbers first. Card number 1, 10 of Pentacles. And I'm really thinking about the world situation at the moment. And I'm kind of surprised to see the 10 of Pentacles here, because it's such an abundant card, and there's so much wrong with the world, isn't there? I think there always has been. And, sadly, in some ways, I think there probably always will be, or at least for the next few thousand years, until we learn all these lessons that Mother Earth is forever trying to teach us. But 10 of Pentacles says there's abundance in the situation as it is now. And I guess there is, we're all having to look at life in new ways because of the situation that's going on all around the world at the moment. But what are we actually learning from it? This is another thing where you could kind of hoard stuff up, like all the junk food I've got hoarded up in my kitchen. And that's what I was going to say. It started going out of date now, and it's just making a mess of my kitchen. So I wish I hadn't hoarded so much of it up. So I'm going to be cooking that, get the flow of food abundance going again. And you see, there is this flow of abundance going on all the time. And just because the world is in a hell of a state, as the famous preacher man once said, doesn't mean there isn't some good in there, doesn't mean there isn't something positive that we can bring out of it. And the 10 of Pentacles is all about that. It's a very happy scene. We've got a man and a woman here, and this looks like a brilliant relationship. But what happens when you get into a real good relationship? You can spend all that time trying to manifest a good relationship with a particular person that you really want to be with, or maybe just asking the universe, please God, can I meet someone, amazing? And hopefully sooner or later you do. Hopefully sooner or later I will. I'm always kind of putting my feelers out into the universe and hoping that's going to happen. And what happens when I meet her? Well, so we come together and everything's good, like it is in the 10 of Pentacles here. But you've got to think about what comes afterwards. This is sometimes called the happy ever after card. And we always know there's no kind of automatic happy ever after with any situation, however happily it starts off. And you've kind of got to invest your thoughts, invest your manifestation skills in the future of any good relationship. And as we're talking about the state of the world today, sow those positive seeds now, okay? It might feel like it's not a good time to sow those positive seeds, but what actually happens after something good comes into your life? You've got to do something to keep it going, because tomorrow is another day. Card number 2. Did you choose number 2? Well, it's the Queen of Cups, that's who it is. Now, the Queen of Cups here is sitting on the edge of the water. And the way I'm drawn to this card today, it looks like a sea of tears, because that is actually very close to the state of the world. And even in the happiest times, someone is unhappy. That's always the way it goes. But she's in her throne and she's on the edge of the sea of tears. And she's holding that thing in front of her with, like, crabs, horns or whatever they are sticking out of it, and she doesn't really know what's going on there, but she is the Queen of Cups and she can make something of that, particularly by taking a happy attitude towards it, I guess. Now, the cups are all about our longings and desires. In terms of astrology, it's the water signs, it's Cancer, it's Scorpio, it's Pisces. So if you're any of those signs, take notice of that. If you've got any of those signs in your birth chart, take notice of that too. And by the way, if you'd like me to produce a birth chart for you, links are down there in the writing down there in the description somewhere. There are links and you can contact me, shoot me an email and ask for a reading or a birth chart, or, tell me anything you want to tell me. It's always interesting to be in touch. And you see, that's the great unknown. That's the sea of the unknown in my YouTube channel and in my kind of internet life, which is most of my life at the moment, I've got to say, and I enjoy it that way. But things keep coming in, there's always a new email, there's always something new starting off. And so as the Queen of Cups is kind of sitting on the edge of the sea here, the sea, it's a sea of tears, and it also kind of shows that anything can happen and that there's a great unknown in front of her. And that's what the longings, that's what the desires are all about in any of the cup cards, but most particularly in this one. but she's got abundance there, you know. And is she going to sit in the chair forever, or is she going to get up and actually start doing things? Well, if she knows what she's about, she'll get up and start doing stuff, because it's the only way to keep the flow of life going. Okay, another Pentacles card at number 3, and it is actually the 3 of Pentacles. Now, since this is a 5-card spread, well, 5-card reading, I'm not spreading them out in front of you because I haven't got one of those cameras that points downwards, you know. I've got fingers that point downwards to all my social media links and stuff there. And do follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, wherever you want to go, because I'm always putting kind of content on there that doesn't quite always make it to YouTube. So there's more going on there. Check it out. Anyway, 3 of Pentacles. It's about steady progress. Now, it's early in the journey, but it's steady progress. And when we look at the state of the world and everything that's going on, we're kind of quite a naive race of people, aren't we? There are some very, very wise people in the world. That is certainly true. But they tend to get swamped down by, not necessarily idiots. They can be idiots, but they're people who just aren't looking at the bigger picture. Politicians who run things. They're just trying to get through to the end of their term so that they become a celebrated, famous past politician, and they can make lots of money writing books and giving after dinner speeches and stuff like that. And the real steady progress is going on kind of, it almost doesn't matter who's doing it, you know. This is the chain of progression from all those tens of thousands of years ago when the human race first came into existence, going forward to however long it's going to go on. You could say going on to kingdom come, I suppose, because we don't know what that's all about. But we're making steady progress. We're early in the journey, and that is why there's so much turbulence in the world, because as a race, as a whole kind of group, collective mass of people, we don't really know what we're doing. Lots of individual people know exactly what's going on, but they don't get listened to. That's an unfortunate fact of life. But look, this is almost like the gods looking up at what we've done, saying, oh, that's pretty good, keep that one going, you know. And it's Pentacles energy as well. It's Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, either you personally or wherever those things are in your birth chart. And they're almost certainly in there somewhere. So card number 3 there, steady progress. That is pretty good. Now then, what is card number 4 going to be? It is actually number 4 in the major arcana, and it's the Emperor. And here he is looking a lot more regal and a lot more in charge of things than the Queen of Cups looked a couple of cards ago. Now, the Emperor is really kind of good at storing things up for the right moment, because he understands. You see, he's married to the Empress, and she understands that there's a season for everything. The Emperor is more kind of making sure that what comes in the season of abundance lasts into the thinner times when there's less abundance about. And I guess we need to do that. But you see, he regulates that flow of abundance. He saves up just enough. He doesn't save so much up that it all goes stagnant and goes bad, like the many, many tins of food in my cupboard, which are now getting a little bit past it and probably won't be that nice when I get round to eating them. Some of them might even end up getting fed to the chickens, actually, because I let things get stagnant, you know. I hoarded and I didn't really need to hoard. Even at this moment, actually, I'm surrounded by junk that I got in just in case all the shops shut. And we're coming up to Thanksgiving and we're coming up to Christmas, and people will buy much too much, you know, they'll over-provide for themselves at those times as well, I'm sure. And the thing to do, you know, is if you've got that abundance, kind of try and give it away to someone who it's going to help. Try and use it for something positive, because if you keep that flow going, then you'll get from one season to the next that much more successfully. Okay, and I'm pleased the Emperor came up when he did. He's the number 4. It's that angel number, and it shows that things are kind of going well. We're going to kind of be into that flow of abundance as we go forward. So let's get to card number 5 and see where that one's taking us. Whoa, card number 5 is number 15, Major Arcana again, so very close to the heart and very close to what's going on at the moment, and it's the Devil. Now then, this isn't kind of the traditional devil that sort of sends people to hell and things like that. It's one of those cards, a bit like the Death card, that scares the life out of anyone who gets it coming up in a reading. And it shouldn't. It's certainly, there's a bit of a warning here, and it's also actually, it's a bit like the Ten of Pentacles. Pentacles we had, because we've got the man and the woman here. What are they actually going to be doing, you know? Traditionally, this card is about the difference between sacred love and profane love, you know, kind of naughty love, the kind of love that appears on websites late at night that you don't want people to know that you've visited. Not that I ever visit anything like that, goodness me, no. But it's that kind of thing, you know. We could use the internet for so many positive things, for so many beautiful things, and yet we tend to use it either for spending money or kind of entertaining our dark side somehow. It's not all about pornography. I'm guilty of watching, like I watch a channel that does, you know, murder investigations and police interrogations. It's not good energy, and I don't have good dreams when I watch those things late at night. I should probably stop watching them, actually. But the thing is, you know, this is the message of the Devil card. Stuff is going on all the time. What are you going to do with it? Every card we've had in this reading actually has had something to do with the flow of abundance. These characters here, down below, can do great things if they make use actually of the chains that they're in. You know, maybe they can't actually break out of the situation they're in, and we can't sort of force the world to go the way we want it to go, can we? We can't automatically make that difference all by ourselves, but we can make the most of it in terms of what we're all chained up to at the moment, what's going on in the world. It feels incredibly negative a lot of the time, and this doesn't look the most positive card, but the Devil is making these people kind of go ahead and actually do something. In relationship readings, this is often something to do with sex. Here I'm kind of, well, you know, it's up to you. Whatever you actually think of this card, whatever this card says to you is what really matters. You know, you're the main interpreter of these readings. That's how it works. That's how I always work on this channel, actually. But my reading of it is, you know, great things can happen. Great things are going to have to happen. There's no choice at all going on when we get the Devil card. So let us look over the 5-card spread again. Let's bring them up here and sort of fan them out as best I can, which isn't very well. Started off with the 10 of Pentacles, so we're in a good situation, really. I know it feels like a terrible situation, but good things can happen. Great things are bubbling up all the time. And after all the anxiety that we're going through at the moment, everybody is going to be ready. Everyone is going to share that kind of goal that we have of wanting happiness, because that's the nature of the universe. And in all our different ways, we all want to be happy. That's really what it's about. Queen of Cups, you know, those desires, those things you long for, those things you really kind of hope are going to happen in your life. Keep on hoping, for sure, you know, never lose hope. But actually, you know, be willing to do something and be willing to join with other people as well, because the Queen of Cups is nothing really without her subjects, you know. That's the thing. People who, her subjects in this case, I think, represent just friends, people who we're drawn to in life, people who we feel we can work with in life. Listen to the world around you, listen to the opinions of other people, and never kind of let your own opinions be swamped. You've got to be the queen in that sense, you know. And just kind of stay in charge of your own life, in control of your own destiny. We haven't had the Magician card, but that's what I'm thinking about the Queen of Cups there. So 3 of Pentacles is the heart of the matter, steady progress. And that is the thing to really hang on to about this reading. And in terms of the desperation that a lot of us are feeling about the human race and the way things are going in the world at the moment. It might feel negative at the moment, and there are a great many negatives about in the world right now, you know, here today. And I'm sure that they're not just going to suddenly go away overnight, but we are making progress. Good things are slowly happening, and everything we go through that's negative is something we learn from, and we can turn it into a positive. Keep that flow of abundance going. You know, store up what you need to store up for sure, and certainly I wouldn't try and share your light with anyone who is completely and totally in darkness, because they'll just kind of suck it in, you know. I used to work in a psychiatric hospital years ago. They kind of changed the way they do that now. But I worked in a real old built in Victorian times, mental institution. And some of the people in there were in such a negative place that you kind of pour all your positive energy into them. And it just got them nowhere, largely because they were cut off by the drugs that were, that were being used in those days to just suppress everything. And things improved for those people unquestionably every single time when they were taken off whatever drugs were just kind of what they call a liquid cosh, were just knocking them out. Things started to improve when they started getting their own life back. And that's when the light came in. And in situations like that, where there's just an inkling of light, a twinkling of the spark of light that everyone has got in the core of their being, it doesn't take much for that spark to start expanding and growing and getting brighter. And that's when you need to put the energy in. Okay, and final card, of course, number 15, the Devil. Now, number 15 in the Major Arcana is a little bit over halfway through. I think it goes up to 22. So there is actually still quite a lot of the journey left to go. That's an important thing to remember. So whatever's going on, make that effort, get things moving, and enjoy your relationships as well. Have fun with those. That's so important. Okay, guys. Well, that's it for this one. Thanks very much again for watching. There'll be more videos going forward, so hit that subscribe button, please, if you haven't already. More subscribers always welcome. When I get to 1,000 subs, I can start going live from this very mobile device that I'm using at the moment. I'm just hopeless at going live from laptops. I've tried it. It gets me nowhere. So hit that subscribe button. Another kind of 55 subscribers, something like that. I'll be on the magic 1,000 mark, and I can do so much for you then. So hit the subscribe button. That's the millionth time I've said it, I think. Thumbs up, please, if you've enjoyed this one. Leave me a comment, guys. It's always great to share the journey, and it's always great to know who I'm getting in touch with. Big thanks again to INTUITIVEW, and a big welcome to everyone who's come from everywhere, but especially to you guys who've come over from INTUITIVEW. Check out the social media links down below, and email me if you want a reading or you just want to talk. I'm always happy to be in touch with people. It's how I kind of put my spiritual tentacles out into the world, if you will. So drop me an email, 35and83@gmail.com, 35and83@gmail.com. That is my email address. Okay, guys, thanks very much for watching. I'll be here again soon with more. Meanwhile, take good care of yourselves. Love and light and blessings to one and all. Peace.